All right, everybody, buckle up because today we are diving into the wild world of relationship therapy,
Oh boy.
but with a twist.
A twist, huh?
Yeah, we're dissecting a YouTube video, a dramatization that's like really blowing up right now for its, let's just say its interesting take on couples counseling.
All right, so not your typical therapy session.
Definitely not. Think your last argument with your partner was bad. Yeah, this makes that look like, well, nothing.
This is going to be good.
Now, before we really get into it, important to remember, it's a dramatization, right? It's meant to be over the top.
Of course. Part.
But even so, even exaggerated scenarios, sometimes they touch on like real anxieties we have. And they can even, reflect some of those bigger cultural things, trends.
Yeah, those underlying anxieties, absolutely.
Right. So we're going to break down the drama, have some fun with it, but also use it as a jumping off point, to think about therapy, marriage. What does it even mean to be successful in a relationship? All that.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
Okay, so the video, it centers on this couple, Julie and Michael. They're in a rut, you can just tell.
The classic.
Totally. And Julia, she wants affection.
Yeah.
Just the simple things. Holding hands, a little bit of attention.
Who doesn't?
Right, but Michael, he seems really distant.
Distant, or maybe just not demonstrating affection in a way that she recognizes.
That's a good point. Yeah, like they're speaking different love languages maybe.
Could be.
And it's something I think a lot of couples can probably relate to, right?
Yeah.
That struggle to connect.
Yeah,
When you experience love so differently.
absolutely. Very common.
But then enter the therapist, Miss Stevens. And this is where the video goes from like 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
There we go.
She jumps in with this really strong advice to Julia, like be more confident, as if that will magically make Michael, suddenly be all over her.
So it's playing on that fear some people have of therapy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like the therapist is going to come in, try to change you.
Right. Exert control like you're not good enough as you are.
Exactly. And it's almost like the video it's holding up this funhouse mirror to all the fears we have about therapy being about control,
Yeah.
Instead of about healing and growing.
Yeah, not exactly a recipe for a healthy therapeutic relationship.
And just wait, it gets even wilder. So we find out Michael, he's not just living a double life, he's got like a triple life going on.
Oh, boy.
We're talking full-on montage of mistresses hiding in his closet. Straight out of a soap opera, I swear.
Wow.
And he's not just unfaithful, he's bragging about it. Like
Yeah.
this is his secret key to happiness, being this, I don't know, player.
Interesting. So they're really playing with this caricature of a successful man, right?
Totally. And they're throwing all these status symbols in there too.
Yeah.
Champagne, fancy car, like the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, like outward success equals happiness, even with all the infidelity.
Yeah. It's almost comical, but it does make you wonder, right? Is that what they're implying?
Yeah.
That money equals happiness, even if you have zero real connection or honesty in your life.
It's definitely playing on those societal perceptions.
It is. And hold on, because it's about to get even more, I don't know, bizarre. Julia, poor heartbroken Julia, she stumbles upon Miss Stevens' self-help book.
Self-help book. The therapist wrote a self-help book.
Yeah, and it's not what you'd expect.
I can imagine.
It's like this super extreme, almost aggressive version of self-empowerment. Forget compromise. Forget working through your problems together.
Oh, no.
It's like the book is screaming, your happiness is all that matters, even if it burns everything else down.
Wow.
And Julia, bless her heart, she takes this to like the extreme, serves Michael with divorce papers at his own big fancy success party.
You're kidding.
Nope. And then she throws herself a lavish divorce party, celebrating her newfound freedom.
Okay, so they're really leaning into this idea of like, divorce is always the answer.
Right, like it's the ultimate self-empowerment move,
Hmm.
which, come on, we all know it's way more complicated than that.
Right, there are two people in a marriage, and divorce is tough. It's not always a party.
Exactly. And it's almost like the video is, I don't know, playing with this idea that some relationships just can't be fixed, and maybe trying to fix them is pointless.
So is it a satire? Like a commentary on how we view marriage and divorce?
It's definitely making a statement. I mean, it's over the top, but it does make you think, right?
Yeah.
About when is it okay to walk away?
Absolutely.
And when were we just holding on? Because it's easier than blowing everything up.
I think a lot of people listening have probably asked themselves those questions at some point.
Totally. And this video, it just throws it all out there in the most ridiculous way possible.
I kind of love it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got secret mistresses, a self-help book from hell, a divorce party to end all divorce parties. Where do we go from here? I guess you'll have to stay tuned to find out. It's wild, right?
It is. And, you know, it'd be easy to just dismiss it as, like, completely ridiculous. But,
Totally.
but I think there's actually, like, a lot more going on under the surface.
Oh, for sure.
It's almost like this funhouse mirror reflection of the pressures we all feel.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that. The
Yeah.
pressures,
Relationships in life.
like to be successful, to present this perfect image.
Right. And the video, it's like turning all that up to 11.
Totally. And speaking of turning things up, can we talk about that ending for a second?
The ending. Oh, with all the happy divorcees.
Yes. It's hilarious and also kind of messed up.
Totally agree. On the one hand, it's like celebrating this really individualistic, almost selfish way of looking at happiness.
Right. Like, screw everyone else as long as I'm happy.
Exactly. But then it also makes you wonder, like, is that really what the video is trying to say?
Right. Is it like endorsing that view? Or is it more of a warning?
A cautionary tale, yeah.
Because some of those happy divorcees, well, we find out they're not actually that happy. They feel like Miss Stevens manipulated them.
It's like the video takes this sharp turn from comedy to, like, wait a minute, this is kind of dark.
Exactly. It's almost like a reminder that, like, things are rarely as simple as they seem, you know?
Right, and I think that's where it ties back to this whole question of therapy.
Yeah, because obviously Miss Stevens is an extreme example.
Definitely not someone you'd want to be in a therapy session with.
No way.
Yeah,
But it does make you think about, like, the power dynamics at play.
absolutely. And the importance of trusting your gut.
Yes. Like, if
Yeah.
something feels off, even if it's coming from someone who seems like an expert,
Yeah,
you have the right to question it.
100%. This video, in a really exaggerated way, it highlights that.
Yeah, it's like, beware of those quick fix promises.
The idea that you can just bypass all the hard work of personal growth.
Right. But in reality, there are no shortcuts, are there? It's so tempting, though, right? That quick fix.
It is. We all want it.
Like, who wants to do the hard work if you can just, I don't know, buy a self-help book and be done?
Exactly. It's everywhere. This idea that happiness is like a product.
Or a formula?
You can just buy it, achieve it.
It's like we're trying to hack happiness.
And this video, it's obviously extreme, but it does make you think
Right? Like, are we falling for those quick fix promises in our own lives?
in our relationships, our careers, everything.
And maybe that's the whole point of this deep dive.
Maybe because this video, it's more than just a silly YouTube video.
Way more.
It's reflecting something back at us
About ourselves, about what we value.
and the choices we make.
It's like a funhouse mirror, but for our own anxieties.
Exactly.
About love, commitment, success, all of it.
And that's what makes it so fascinating, I think.
It is, because it forces us to ask those tough questions.
The ones we might avoid otherwise.
Like, what do we really want? What actually makes us happy?
Are we chasing someone else's dream?
Or are we brave enough to figure out our own? Those are big questions.
They are, but they're important ones.
So as we wrap up this wild deep dive, maybe that's the message to take away.
Don't be afraid of the tough questions.
Embrace the messiness,
The journey.
because figuring out what truly makes you happy, it's not always easy,
No shortcuts.
but it's always worth it. And on that note, that's a wrap on another deep dive. Hope you all enjoyed the ride. We'll see you next time.